Well, it's January 6th, 2013, and today was the last day on the Thumper before I get my Öhlins. And we got some good things worked out today. I really rode the bike harder than I have before. I changed a lot today, and I kind of dialed in for my comfort level. I didn't dial in for necessarily the best grip. I didn't necessarily dial it in for the best feeling overall, but I dialed it in so I could kind of gain some of the confidence back. The bike still beats me up and everything, but I was in some good motos today, was in good battles with people, and I was able to ignore kind of the bike beating me up and just kind of ride through it, which I did. And I did successfully, even though there were still 5 or 6 lap motos. At least I was able to ride through it. That's the first time I've been able to do that in this bike. So that was really good. And I'll tell you something, with the way I rode today, I'm really looking forward to the Öhlins next week, because I think it's going to be a huge step compared to what this is. And if I can ride this, then the Öhlins is going to be off the hook.
Before making my decision to buy the Öhlins, I decided to take the WP components apart in order to determine if there was an issue with them. I noticed the oil was a little bit dirty, but also that when I put the fork up against the wall, the fork tube didn't move. This is the fork tube without the dust seal, and as you can see, it does not fall into position like it's supposed to. It just slowly glides down the shaft, which is not correct. That's a lot of stiction. In this clip, this is me holding the fork tube upside down, letting it dangle to see if I can get the fork tube to move. That's me shaking the tube, and then eventually I grab the tube and start pulling it apart. And even with the force of my hands pulling it apart, it still does not want to move. I've been riding motorcycles for 6 years now, and only once have I ever gotten new suspension for a motorcycle. And even that wasn't really as new as this. This is the 2013 Öhlins Works suspension that I bought for my 2013 250 SXF. It was set up by David at Fast Bike Industries, and I received the box today, and I am so excited to get this thing open.
The preload adjuster has been a contentious issue with the WP components. Well, the Öhlins preload adjuster turns when you turn the spring. So instead of having to hit it with a hammer and have all that friction involved in the plastic preload adjuster, which is on the WP product, on the Öhlins, all you do is just unscrew it and turn it. Really that easy. So here at Milestone again, this is day 2 of the 2-day test with the new suspension. The first day went really, really well. Everything worked very well. I went about 3 seconds quicker than I normally went. And now today we're here on a bumpy track. Towards the end of the day, I want to see how good the suspension works in the rough stuff. center sine wave, and the peaks on that sine wave being the input the bike has, the suspension has, into the handlebars. The WP would be the square peak. And on this stuff, you still have a little bit of a peak, but it has a little bit of a round surface to every single one of those peaks. Every single bump you hit, it smoothens it out. It's not as bumpy. It's not as rough as it would have been on the WP stuff. And that roughness is the key. And we're not talking big bumps here. We're talking very small stuff. We're talking chops. We're talking braking bumps, throttling bumps. That's it. All the big stuff, the WP stuff handles no problem at all. It's the small chop that's the problem. That's where the WP stuff really lacks. That's where the Öhlins really, really shines. So far, I'm completely ecstatic about it. I've been able to put in 5, 10 lap motos without any fatigue at all coming from the bike, which is amazing. I've never been able to do that on this bike, and actually I haven't really been able to do that on the two-stroke unless the track was in perfect condition. So today when the track's beat up and being able to go out there and put in these great motos, it's just like, it's flabbergasting to me that I can do this finally. So I'd say this bike is really going to extend my abilities as a rider, for sure. And tomorrow we're going to go down to Paula, and the track's going to be totally nasty down there. I'm really looking forward to seeing what the track, I'm really looking forward to seeing how the bike does down there with that track. There are a couple things about riding a 4-stroke that are different than riding a 2-stroke, and a lot of them are positive towards the 4-stroke, as in, it's got more hookup when you open the throttle. You can take that inside line and just wrap over a jump face, no problem at all. It's just the way the motor works, and the way the motor deals with things is so much better than the 2-stroke in a lot of ways. However, there are a couple of small things about the 4-stroke that have really been a problem for me. One of the major issues has been dealing with braking going into a corner. And I am a rear braker. I slide the bike into a corner and I yank on the throttle and exit. That's how I deal with it. The problem is that you can't ride the 4-stroke like this. It's a heavier bike by 30 pounds and it does not respond that way. So I've been not being able to have the corner speed I need to be able to push to the next level. My corner speed absolutely sucks. And even the best corners that I've done, with the best laps that I've had, it's still just not there. It's still something missing. And I haven't been able to figure it out yet. Is it body position? Is it the fact that when we get the throttle, obviously the bike slows down, where I'm used to the bike kind of coasting into a corner on the brakes? There's a lot of things. So it's now time to experiment with different things. One of the big things is obviously using the clutch a little more, and using the rear brake a little more, and kind of rolling into the corner a little more like my 2-stroke, kind of imitating what the 144 was like. But honestly, I don't know what's going to be the answer. So there's a list of things that I'm going through until I find the answer. Then I'm going to have to train my brain to use that to be able to get to the corners quicker. So there's a lot of things going on. So yeah, I'm really happy with the purchase. I think that the bike and the suspension work together very, very well, and it's such a great package that really, truthfully, anybody should be able to get on it and win on it. So now it's just up to me to make that next step in my skills, to be able to ride this thing quicker than I could my 144. So until next time, I really appreciate you watching these last couple of videos about the new 250S, and it's a great bike. I highly recommend it, and I highly recommend the Öhlins suspension as well. It's been a lifesaver for me. And until next time, I'll see you later.